Okay. Hi. Um, yes, I haven't been making videos lately, so I'm back about a month ago or 6 weeks ago. I resigned a job that I had. If you follow me on Twitter, you probably know what job I was. I was administering a law school, and I resigned, and I cannot talk about it. The irony here is that I'm such a freedom lover, but I signed a document saying I couldn't really talk about my experiences on the job. So that's what happened, and that's why I've been struggling to figure out what I should say on here. The reality is, I'm not going to say more than I left, I resigned, and it was a very tough, very challenging job at a time when the institution that I worked for was really under regulatory scrutiny. And it was very difficult because I've got things going on in my personal life, and I was sandwiched between some family issues and work issues. And anyway, I had to leave. And since then, I've kind of been working and clearing my head and relaxing a little bit. Um, I'm on another personal journey right now, which we can talk about in the future. But the bottom line is that's how things are now in capitalist America. People sign documents as a condition of employment or release, and then we go our merry ways. So that's kind of an update about what I've been doing in my personal life, and been dealing with my mother, who is of advanced age. I'll just put it to you like that. And there's a lot of challenges there. And yeah, and I've been wondering, what to do or what to say, because the reality is that this is a small channel. I don't really get that much feedback, and for me, I'm sort of energy based. I need to have energy, and most of the energy that I've been experiencing in the past 2 or 3 months has been honestly rage. I mean, if you think about it, what's the number one issue on the left right now? And that is, regardless of how you define the left, that's Israel. And when I think about that, I get plenty angry because, yeah, I mean, in my view, it's not even something that's debatable. I haven't even seen the Norman Finkelstein debate with um, Density. That's how I pronounce his name. I haven't even seen that debate. As you guys know, because I've made a comment, if you've seen my past videos, I'm not a fan of Norman Finkelstein for different reasons, not related to Israel. Um, we won't get into that. But my point is, I don't do hero worship, so I'm not actually that curious. Sorry. Also, I'm getting over an illness. Um, I'm not. I don't do hero worship, so I don't really care that much about what Finkelstein has to say. I think Density, a liberal guy, is worthless. I'm very skeptical about the utility of debates, and I happen to think that Israel v. Palestine is not a debatable topic. It's not appropriate. It's like saying, you know, debating the worthiness of the Vichy government under the Nazi occupation or something. Like what do you think is an appropriate reaction in the occupied territories where merely the act of peaceful protest can be met with sniper fire? You know, if you're occupying a land, what you're basically saying is might makes right. And if you're the right ethnic or religious group, you're in. And if you're too dark, you're out. There's a political group in Israel that is a Jewish political party. You can look this up. It's a Jewish political party. They're Sephardic Jews. They're not Ashkenazi. They're Sephardic. And the purpose of their existence is to seek equal treatment for Sephardic Jews. I can't think of a more factual and bigger scathing indictment of the Zionist system than that. It's basically, I'm just going to put it out there, the sort of psychoanalytic term, the Jungian term, identifying with the aggressor. If you're a kid that was abused you were abused, you're going to grow up to be an abuser, most likely. And these people who are from Eastern Europe are going over to another land and conducting ethnic cleansing, because that's apparently they're identifying with the aggressor. They're doing to other people what was done to them historically. I really don't think it's worthy of the topic, or worthy of the suffering of the Palestinians, or worthy of the suffering of the original 6 million Jews that died in Europe, to have a conversation over whether or not Zionism should be allowed to engage in ethnic cleansing, over whether their policy is defensible or not. It's not defensible. It isn't. If somebody in an occupied land, like let's say in Iraq, when we were occupying them, if they committed an act of terrorism, I wouldn't say something stupid like, well, we should extend the occupation longer. No, it's an argument against occupation. Regardless of whether you can defend the terrorist on a moral scale. Nobody is saying that terrorism is moral. But, when you poop the bed, you have to be prepared to, do the laundry. So I don't know why people think it's appropriate to engage in this conversation. I mean, I don't. I think the ship has sailed on that. And so a lot of these things I don't really comment about because, I've got a lot of things going on in my personal life. And also, I just don't think that these things are worth commenting on. I don't know how many people are actually listening to Norman Finkelstein that were Zionists before and they're no longer Zionists. I think the vast majority of people who change political camps, and they're very few, but people who change political camps based on YouTube debates are people who are always in flux, So I think that if you were an anarchist and then you decided to be an authoritarian socialist, I think you were never an anarchist to begin with. You just thought you were, because that's what came up and you thought it was sexy and you didn't really give it any thought. Because anarchism is not, it's more of a practice, an inclination and a practice and a dedication, more than a political philosophy. And so what attracts people to authoritarian socialism is this delusion that it's all been mapped out by Vladimir Lenin or Mao, and you just have to follow the map. And you don't have to think. You don't have to be anything. You just follow instructions. Like Scientologists reading Dianetics. That's what it is. So, I don't really believe it is, and there's equivalencies for other things. Like if you're a conservative, you were a conservative Republican, and suddenly you find yourself in the Democratic Party. It's not really because you changed. It's because the Democratic Party decided to follow the lead of capital and become the conservative party. Because the worse things get in America, the harder it is to justify change. So capitalism has defined the left position in America as really, they've taken conservatism, and this is going to sound bizarre for some people, but it's the truth. They've taken conservatism and they've defined it as leftism. So, for example, if you look at, with the exception of gay marriage, if you look at mainstream Biden's positions, or let's say the positions that Governor Newsom here in California has, or that the governor of New York has, or the mainstream Democratic Party positions, with the exception of gay marriage, essentially they're the same positions as Arnold Schwarzenegger or a moderate, what was called a moderate Republican, the mainstream of the Republican Party in the late 80s and the early 90s. Those are the positions that are conservative. And those are the positions of the Democratic Party now. And the word conservative does not mean turn back the clock. It means let us proceed slowly and preserve institutions and systems of law. That is what conservatism is. So for most of the last 20 years, the Democratic Party did not want gay marriage. What did they want? They wanted civil unions because they did not want to be for gay marriage up until it became obvious that a lot of elites, a lot of rich people, like Paul Singer's son, I think, turned out to be gay, and a lot of rich elites decided that they wanted to allow gay marriage. Then the Democrats slowly changed their tune. But before that, they were determined to not support gay marriage. Why? Because they are a party of conservatism. Republicans, on the other hand, they think the Democrats are left wing, and they think they are conservative. But in reality, they're not conservative. They are reactionary. They are reactionary. And what they're trying to do is not conserve American institutions, not conserve small government. That's not what they're about. What they are about is turning the clock back and about making the government authoritarian when it comes to giving benefits to the rich and skinflint when it comes to giving ordinary people benefits. They want to increase the security, the military industrial security complex. They want to enlarge government. They just have a fetish for the way supposedly things were before, like the 1950s. And in some cases, the 1870s. I mean, they would turn back the clock very far back. So, in terms of a lot of major assumptions related to capitalism, related to the institutions, related to the legal system, etc., liberals and conservatives actually agree on a lot of things. Keep your eyes peeled when you see the debates and how they act towards one another, because they actually agree a lot. And they agree on Israel, for example. And so, in that environment, it's difficult for somebody like me to come around and say things because there's nothing to say. You can't say anything to a Republican or a Democrat. You can't say anything. They don't care about logic or reason or soundness. So, anyway, that's my commentary for today. And if you are watching this, I know Ivan might be watching this. Ivan, if you do, comment. And the rest of you, if you haven't subscribed or commented, please do. I'm going to upload this video. Today is Monday, March the 25th, and we'll see if I can do a video at the end of the week. I got a GoPro. We'll see what else I put on this channel. But anyway, thank you for watching.